This stuff
You and the pecan coffee have got to calm down.
pecan coffee from Shadrack's in Jonesboro, Arkansas. It stuff is incredible.
He's your new dealer is what he
Yeah,
is.
that's right. Hey, Brendan, a lot to cover today. We'll have Mitch Davis, Oakley, our intern, going to check in.
Mitch Davis, what?
I know, Mitch Davis. Well, he's being the banker he is in his side gig. He's serious about this podcasting, especially baseball, but he'll be on with us. Also,
Podcasting, baseball, banker.
Oh, yeah.
Mitch Davis.
That's what he is. And then Wil Gunter will check in from Columbia, South Carolina. Dudley Dawson, Fayetteville, Arkansas, hogville.net. Vince Ferrara up on the hill in Big Orange Country. And we'll talk about all 16 of these SEC schools. Missouri, 3-28. They're out. I think that was the worst season ever in baseball, but we'll talk about it. Take a picture with your phone of our QR code. We're broadcasting simultaneously on Twitter, X, Facebook, YouTube, and Brendan is putting stuff out on Reels. Follow this channel. Awesome, updated, live, fresh content coming up every day, sometimes 2 or 3 shows a day on this channel on YouTube. So blessed to have all y'all watching. It is Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. For those of you archivists out there. Mitch.
Is that archaeologists or the keeper of time?
I meant to say archivists.
Archivists.
Yes, archivists.
I wouldn't really know what that would be called. Yeah. Archivists.
Yes,
Mitch Davis will know. He knows everything.
Mitch, how are you?
I'm good. Thank y'all for having me on. It's always a privilege down here in Hoover.
How much fun is that?
Oh my God, I think I'm on year 7. I think I am, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back and do some math there. But I was looking at the attendance numbers just this morning to see how far this tournament's grown. Yeah. Last year we had 180,000 people walk through the gates of the Hoover Met. It was a new conference record. The year before that we had 171. So the attendance numbers keep going up. I'm about to make my way back over to the Met. Staying about 15 minutes out. So going to make my way over. Got a busy day. Cover both Mississippi schools. Be there for all 4 games today. Starting at 9:30 and rolling until. So we'll see what happens.
Mitch, quick question. Jacques Doucet, Channel 9, Baton Rouge, was on Monday, covers LSU. Said, there's people are wondering, and the question will be answered. You can do it. Will people not go because it's single elimination and say, I'm not going to go to Hoover because it's one? My thought is, and I'm not criticizing, Jacques was just bringing it up. Yeah, I'm thinking it's a party and people go regardless if their team's in or not because it's eating and it's drinking and it's fellowshipping, which we like doing in the South.
Yeah, so I mean, I pulled up yesterday. I didn't get there for the Alabama-Mizzou game. Had to drive over from Tupelo. It was, we had some weather issues, so we were a little bit later.
You should have been in parking. I thought we were going to get blown away yesterday. It was unbelievably scary.
Yeah, my wife was texting me. They had a tornado in Eaglemar yesterday, and I think Boonville had one too. So right all around us, we've had those for the last 3 months. But got there as soon as I pulled into the parking lot. There were LSU fans and Mississippi State fans tailgating. The RV lot, every other flag was either purple and gold or Mississippi State maroon and white. Yesterday, as we were awaiting the Mississippi State game, there was a lot of maroon and white filing in. A lot of angry Mississippi State fans that game was postponed. I still don't understand why. I don't think that we got rain last night until midnight. I get we were in the tornado watch. I get you have to be super cautious. But, I mean, Rob, we've played them far worse here in Hoover. I mean, I've been here when Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, this was the year that I think Ole Miss won a national championship. They had lost to Vanderbilt on Tuesday night of the SEC Tournament. That game did not end until about 3:30 in the morning. So I don't understand why we didn't play last night. But, hey, I'm ready to get there. I'm ready to cover Mississippi State. We start in about an hour and a half. So as soon as I get off here, I'll be heading over to the Hoover Met. If anybody listening is out there and you see me, feel free to say hello. I always love meeting new people and LSU fans. I promise I will be out in the RV lot at some point this week.
Well, one thing for sure, Mississippi State, the last 5 coaches, including the now fired Chris Lamonis, have been to Omaha. And LSU and Mississippi State fans are kind of the anchor in terms of they're going, and now it's It's Ole Miss. And then you look at Florida. I mean, 8 or 9 World Series for Kevin O'Sullivan. They came in yesterday with hot bats and dispatched South Carolina quickly. Who you think's most well positioned to make a run to win this whole thing in Hoover?
So had you asked me that yesterday, I would have said Mississippi State. Just the way that the draw was, they would have played Tuesday, Wednesday, pitch their midweek guys off on Thursday, then play LSU on Friday. Now they're playing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then they have to play Saturday, Sunday, obviously. So now that this new format, I hate to go chalk, but I'm going LSU. I think that there's something special about LSU and Hoover. I don't know what it is. I mean, like I said, I've been coming for several years now, and there's always something special about LSU when they play here, and it's hard to pick against the Tigers. It is, and Mississippi State's still fully capable of going on a run. They're one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. Winners of the last 3 series. The guys have seemed to kind of wake up a little bit. They're playing different baseball. And you can take that how you want it. I love Coach Lemonis as a person. I think he was a great dude and was always treating us media guys with the utmost respect. But sometimes the program at Mississippi State is a program where you have to understand the program. You have to understand that this is a program that, like Kentucky in basketball. Kentucky in basketball is the it program and always will be in SEC basketball. And obviously you got Florida and some other teams, Auburn, that are having success. But Kentucky's got all the history. LSU and Mississippi State are like that in baseball. So you have to understand, the job. There hasn't been a whole lot of scuttlebutt about the coaching search right now. That's probably going to be the next question. But the thing is with that is Zach Selman, he is keeping a tight lip on it. I understand why. He's not letting anything leak out. He's not, he's handling it his way. We have heard names of O'Connor at Virginia, Pollard at Duke, the guy at Coastal's also, the dude at Oregon. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. So there's some names to watch out for. I wouldn't also, rule out Will Coggins at Georgia, and he's a Mississippi State guy. And I had heard, even before Lemonis was fired, had Coggins got the job, when Lemonis was hired, or, now that the job's open, Coggins could bring in an all Mississippi State staff, much like, Kentucky did with Mark Pope, and bring in Jonathan Papelbon to be a pitching coach and, maybe even Tanner Allen to be a hitting coach or a bench coach or, go down the line. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I think a lot of Mississippi State fans are anxious, but they're also going, okay, hey, we're, they've won 3 straight SEC series. And, this month, the month of May and also the first part of June is special when LSU and Mississippi State are competing and they're competing well. So it could be a really special Friday night if Mississippi State and LSU are playing each other.
Yeah, and you're right. Mississippi is a baseball state for sure. I mean, back-to-back 21-22. And, Kerry, he's right. I'll say LSU or the Horns to win in Hoover. Wouldn't be surprised if Auburn makes a run. I would say Florida's hot. Florida went from the living dead at 1-11 early, and they're hot. I mean, I like that. Walter Clayton Jr., Gator boys stay hot. Kind of comment on what Kerry's saying.
Yeah, so the thing about Texas, and I had this question for Oklahoma folks yesterday. Playing in Hoover is not for everybody. This is the first time playing Hoover. This is the first time dealing with the feral kids of Hoover. So
they're everywhere.
Oh my God, they're awesome, dude. I was watching like a crowd of kids, literally just 10-year-old kids like swarming baseballs and foul balls
everywhere.
And I freaking love it, man. I love the feral kids of Hoover.
Who came up with that name? You?
No, it wasn't me. Oh God, it was in a press.
Brendan? Was it you?
Oh man, we were in I forgot when that was. 4 or 5 years ago, we were in a press box and we were like, this is the feral kids of Hoover. And of course, it upsets some people because you're not supposed to say certain things in this politically correct BS. But
we don't do that.
Yeah,
that's what they're having fun.
That,
they're having fun.
I asked Oklahoma yesterday about that and about playing in Hoover. They kind of gave me a smart ass remark. They kind of laughed it off. They were like, "Well, it's just another baseball park." In no disrespect to Kentucky, I love Coach Mingione. Coach Mingione's a great friend of mine. However, you beat Kentucky. You didn't beat Mississippi State. You didn't beat LSU. You didn't beat some of the big boys in SEC baseball. So to make that remark and to have to go up against a hot Georgia team today, as an SEC traditionalist, I really hope that Georgia kind of rocks them a little bit today. I think it would be a fun time for me to watch Georgia rock them.
Yeah, Georgia number 1 RPI, Auburn number 2, Georgia number 7 strength of schedule, Auburn number 1 strength of schedule. That's just because you're playing in the SEC. All right, Texas. Have you met any Texas fans there yet?
I'm going to catch some flack for this. I haven't seen any. I'm very surprised. I don't know if they're going to just come in for the Texas games on Thursday, and if they do, that's fine. There might be some today, but I have not seen a Texas fan. Have not seen a
Mitch. I mean, you got to understand something. Texas fans aren't seen; they're heard. They're heard.
That's fair.
I'm from Colorado. When we ski, we hear them, and then we see them in some sort of bright colored something kind of screaming by. But it's a lot of there's a lot of that.
There you go.
So you just gotta look. You gotta listen.
I don't know if they're going to fit
when
in
you're in the wild.
Like I said,
this is how you hunt Texas fan.
LSU and Mississippi State fans outnumber everybody here.
Yeah.
I mean, they do. There's, we were in a restaurant last night after the state game.
You smell LSU fans. You smell for the booze and the good food. Okay.
Oh my God.
You smell for LSU fans. You listen for Texas fans. We'll go over this later. It's okay.
I'm ready, baby. I'm ready to experience some Texas folks. I know that, Rob, you got some, but
I got a lot of Texas friends, and I'm telling you, and they watch this show. I know and Jimmy McDavid's out in Weatherford where they film Landman.
Yeah.
And look, I've been out in Texas a lot. That's where my wife's family, they're all from the Valley, Harlingen and Fort Worth. They'll be there. But then the Auburn and Alabama fans, they're not going to be tailgating necessarily because they're going to just come after work or whatever. It's incredible. Mitch, I know you got a big day ahead of you. Tell people that are wanting to come down to Hoover, hey man, how easy is it to get tickets?
I haven't looked. I'll be honest with you. I haven't looked this year. I did look for Sunday's tickets, and they are a little bit more expensive than I remember in years past. But I'm sure you can get them on Ticketmaster. There were some empty seats yesterday. I think there was 8,000. But that was just in the first session. They didn't do attendance for the second session because State hadn't played yet. There'll be a lot of people there today. I know a lot of Mississippi State people traveling over. But Rob, it's a great event. I see a comment on there. It doesn't matter, to the fans. Tell that to the 30,000 Mississippi State and LSU people that are here right now. I mean, everywhere you turn, there's purple and gold and maroon and white. And I got to talk to Coach Polk yesterday, and then I'm running out of time. I'm going to get to the stadium. But Coach Polk Coach Polk came on the podcast when I first started covering Mississippi State.
He's a good man.
He's turned into a mentor and a friend. And I asked him yesterday, I said, I said, Coach, I said, everybody else has pictures with you. I said, do you mind if I take a picture of you while, picture with you while we're, waiting on the game, and shared some pleasantries. And, we took that picture. It's on Twitter right now, or X. And it's just so special because you get to talk to guys like that. I'm hoping to catch up with Skip Bertman. Didn't get a chance to catch up with Paul Maneri because we left. The game was out of reach, but I did get to catch up with my guy Nick Mingione yesterday after the game, both in the press conference and after. It was at Kentucky Proud Park 2 weekends ago. Beautiful ballpark. He's got great facilities. So SEC baseball special, man. It is a fraternity. And it's just unique. I'm trying to pinpoint that, and hopefully by the end of the week, I can come back and say this is what makes SEC baseball so special. Because this sport, this conference, this tournament means a lot, and it means a lot to me personally. And I love college baseball. I grew up college basketball, college football were always the keys. But man, since moving to Mississippi, college baseball has replaced this too as my favorite sport.
It has, and Mitch, before you go, it's the athletic sports equivalent of Memphis in May Barbecue Fest when it was down on the Mississippi River. Yeah. It's that. I was in Birmingham last week for 3 days. Incredible city. Hoover or bust. That's what I say. Mitch, tell them how they can follow you. We'll get you on later in the week. with more updates from Hoover. But that's great stuff you've done today. You always do. Mr. Baseball, Mr. Nice Guy, Mitch Davis.
Yeah, so follow me on X, Mitch Davis _8, Facebook and Instagram at The Mitch Davis Show. Got some articles up already, themitchdavisshow.com. About to head over to the Met in 5 minutes. Got to be there for Mississippi State at 9:30. And then I'm going to be there for the marathon day. I was planning on doing that yesterday, but we're going to roll today, babe. We got Ole Miss tonight. I'll be covering that, be there with Coach Bianco and them after the game. So pray for me. I'll be happy to come on tomorrow. I might look a little rough, but we're gonna be rolling, baby. We're gonna be rolling all week.
I'll be texting you all night long. Thank you, Mitch.
I'm just tweeting you and tagging you in the whole thing. So there you go. Thanks, Mitch.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a great one.
You too. That is great stuff. Hail State. I like him. Hey, he covers the whole state of Mississippi. And here's a guy that covers South Carolina. And, Wil Gunter, 107.5 The Game in Columbia, Florence. Now, you're in Myrtle Beach as well. Where all are you in the great state of South Carolina? Because that's, by the way, Audrey and I, the missus and I at night are watching Turn about George Washington's spies and the war for independence. 35% of the casualties in that war occurred in South Carolina. And there was an evil man named Bannister Tarleton, a British commander that everybody down there knows about. But what a great state. That was my parents' second honeymoon, was Myrtle Beach. They still talk about the fishing trip when they couldn't get back to shore. But I love that state. A lot of passion. You do a great show in the morning. What'd you talk about this morning and what's on your mind? And thanks for joining us, as always.
Yeah. Obviously this morning, a lot of George Wendt talk, because that's you can RIP to him. 76 years old is a great age to live to, but that was a happier message, a happier discussion than talking about the baseball team who just wrapped up a historical season.
Yep.
Not a good historical season. 29 losses. This is the most ever in South Carolina baseball history. 24 losses in conference play is the most losses ever in South Carolina's SEC play. They had the highest team ERA ever in South Carolina baseball. And so there's a lot of people here. And this is a program that had gone to a regional last year. They weren't a great team last year, but they got to a regional, and they have fallen so far back in the pack. They got outscored by Florida this year in 4 games, 50-11. They only won one SEC series, and that ties for an all-time low. It was unfortunately a historically bad season for South Carolina. And this is an athletic department, a fan base that has always hung their hat on baseball.
Yeah.
This is only the 4th losing season in the last 55. Actually, it's the 4th season with either being at 500 or below in the last 55 years. Now 2 of those have come in the last 3 years. South Carolina actually went 27-28 in 2022. And we were kind of discussing South Carolina, that great run under Ray Tanner and June Raines, going back to Bobby Richardson. South Carolina has now missed NCAA tournament play in 5 out of the last 10 full seasons, not counting COVID. So you go back over the last 10 completed seasons. So this program has fallen. It's fallen to a place where this fan base, the majority, again, you go 55 years, the majority of this fan base has never seen. And you had a coach come in who pretty much said that, hey, this is easy. This is a quick fix. We're already in a great place. It's time to elevate and get back to going to super regionals and College World Series. And that obviously not only didn't happen, but some of these losses, you lost to Texas A&M 17-0. You got run ruled, I think, 5 times this year. You lost to Auburn 24-2. You lost to Florida 22-3. It's ugly. It's bad. So there's a lot of the fan base that are really questioning if Paul Mainieri should be brought back for year 2.
Frank Broyles to Harold Horton and Tim Horton, my friends, coach that Arkansas played there. If you've made the wrong hire and you know you made the wrong hire, it's never too early to move on. But I hope that doesn't happen. But what do you and your fans think about him?
Well, that's a great question. The fan base thinks that they need to move on. The fan base, they are not happy with the pitching coach, Terry Rooney. And yesterday, Paul Mainieri doubled down on Terry Rooney and said he will be back, and basically said he will show y'all he's a good coach. There is an element of press conferences during the month of May that seem to suggest Paul Mainieri was blaming it on the players and throwing players under the bus. And some people are kind of fired up about that. But, what we are going to learn, this is Jeremiah Donati, the new athletic director from TCU, comes in, and he started in January, took over for Ray Tanner. What is he going to do? How will he sit down and look at the program and look at the future of the program? There is expected to be a high number of transfers. That'll be kind of interesting. I believe one pitcher, his father put on social media last night that they would be leaving the program. So it's a situation that I think is very precarious right now. I think Jeremiah Donati's job is not black and white as to wins and losses when you talk about year one and you talk about a guy who has got a championship pedigree. But you got to be honest, Paul Mainieri's 67. He was not brought in as a long-term hire. He was brought in because they thought the program just needed to be upgraded a tick. Well, now all of a sudden, it's almost going to have to be completely rebuilt. It's almost burnt to the ground. It's not all his fault, mind you, but they are not where they were last year, where they made a slight run in Hoover and then got to the Raleigh regional and unfortunately would end up being eliminated. But this program is a shell of itself of what it was 13 years ago when they lost in the College World Series in their third straight appearance. They'd won the first two, beat UCLA, beat Florida, and then lost to Arizona in the third, going for 3 straight. It is an absolute shell of itself, and 13 years ago may as well be 30 years ago.
Well, it's like a tear down. The house is just crumbling from within. If you get beat, like you say, run ruled 5 times, to me, body language wise, that's like those guys have checked out. They're just not buying what you're selling. That's you don't ever want to see that. And you're right. South Carolina, only 4 seasons below 500 in the last 50 years. That's damn impressive. I mean, you think about it.
I just don't know why you wouldn't want to play at South Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so awesome.
I
was talking to somebody the other day. They're like, I went to South Carolina the other day, and I was like, we went to the campus, and like, good Lord, that's an awesome place. And I was like, I know. I was like, I don't know how I wouldn't want to be there. It's such a great town, great place, great campus, great everything.
It is. And it's a damn good
perfect.
School.
It's a perfect baseball school too.
Yeah. I mean, and Will, that's the point. Now, again, you're in touch with fans all over South Carolina. I'm sure y'all dip into North Carolina as well. Y'all got you got a big fan base, and they always show up. Before we go to some football, what's your gut feeling on what happens with Paul Mainieri and even the staff?
Now, he says yesterday there's going to be no staff changes. Yeah. We will see about that. There's been some rumors that may not look, you say it's coaches speak, right? Hey, there's going to be no staff changes. But if a guy wants to leave and go get another job, you can't control that. And that guy may not be necessarily fired, but he might be encouraged to go get another job. It wouldn't surprise me if there was one in particular staff change. But again, we'll kind of continue to monitor that and see what happens. But with all that being said, I think he's back for next year unless he goes in and completely – unless Jeremiah Donati just watches a bunch of transfers leave and sees the program falling apart. Maybe he does exit interviews with seniors and there isn't good reviews. I think he's back. I wouldn't say that with certainty. I'd put it around 80-20 right now coming out of last night. But I do think that they may move quickly. This is an outlet. Y'all know how it is. The new boss comes in. Jeremiah Donati's a younger guy compared to, say, Ray Tanner. He'd like to make his stamp on the program. He got TCU baseball to a very good point. I think he got him there with Schlossnagle, if I remember correctly. I don't know if he hired Schlossnagle or how that kind of went down. But this would be a program that he could go in and show his chops in bringing an elite coach. The facilities here are not what they used to be. They've been surpassed by other great facilities, but it's still good. You mentioned it when South Carolina baseball was winning. That place is packed. This is a very knowledgeable fan base. I joke about it. The basketball fan base here is not very smart. They haven't seen good basketball for 55 years. The baseball fans have seen great baseball. They know what great baseball is. They know how to watch and be like, that looks good. That looks like a World Series team. The basketball fan base has sometimes no clue. But this is an area that maybe Jeremiah Donati sits down today or tomorrow and looks at everything and says, this is my opportunity to go out and make a splash hire and find an elite coach. You go back to who they did. They hired Chad. This goes to a larger point of mine real quick. You never give the keys to a baby. And no offense to Chad Holbrook, but when South Carolina was making the transition from Ray Tanner to Chad Holbrook, I know Holbrook was the top assistant in the country and was the hot name. When you've got a job like that, you go hire the absolute best coach you can to come in and fill the job. Alabama has done that with Kalen DeBoer. Duke basketball is trying to do that with John Shire. I know they got back to the Final Four this year, but was that a generational talent in Cooper Flagg, or was that John Shire? You see my point? They hired Chad Holbrook. That didn't really work out. They went to Mark Kingston, which a lot of people questioned. That has not worked out, and obviously here we are today.
Well, it is so hard to take an assistant who's never been a head coach because he doesn't understand all the people that he's got to manage. And that's what is so damn hard. And anything that you do, you've got to have a team. And every head coach you ever talk to says the key is having great assistants, because if you don't, you're having to police them and you don't get to coach. So you go from being a great coordinator, offense, defense, pitching coach, whatever. And, Butch Thompson talked about it Thursday with Tedford, his pitching coach, who came from the White Sox, minor league system. Said last year at the end of the season, Auburn was dead last in the league. They made some changes. They're letting the pitchers run their own show, and it changed things. I got to think Paul Mainieri can fix it, but he can't be so stubborn that he won't listen to the Carolina fan base and also listen to himself. I mean, you got – all right, real quick here. We're running this morning. Let me ask you, South Carolina football, any news right now? You mentioned basketball, but football-wise, nobody's left. When do they start the summer sessions? And we'll want to follow that during the summer because Media Day is going to be here in less than 2 months. You're going, aren't you?
I believe, yeah, we're still discussing that. Okay. No news. No news is good news. And this is obviously this will be, I think it's this weekend. Might be next weekend. Is the first official visit weekend for South Carolina. And I believe the remainder of the newcomers and any transfers will show up on campus after Memorial Day on Tuesday. And they'll be ready to get going. But I give Shane Beamer, I told you this, the maturation of a program, they've done a good job. They know what the hype is. You see all these articles coming out. I think ESPN had one yesterday. I think it was Sporting News had one with as it pertained to Lenora Sellers being a top 8 type quarterback in the country. They know what they're getting. But I think they're doing a good job of staying under the radar and not allowing the hype to get to them, or not trying to play into it, if you will. And that's a difference than they've done. And I think that's a good thing. So I think you're going to have for them a much quieter June and even July.
I think Greg McElroy, when he was talking at the Touchdown Club Monday in Memphis, was talking about Lenora Sellers as he's a very humble, just like almost apologetic when he makes a mistake. I think there's something special that right there in this day and age, in any day and age. Y'all got you, as they say in the country, a good one. I mean, I think he is, and Roman Harper talks about he can throw passes and complete them when he's on the way to the ground. That's a rare talent.
Yeah, he's still got to get better. The bowl game was not a particularly great look for him, but obviously the month of November is where he made his made his name. The Texas A&M game in particular, in which I think again they had 13 free shots on him, and he escaped each and every one of them. And then the Missouri game, the last second touchdown, and then of course the Clemson game, running it in. But he's got to continue to get better. I do think he's got better wide receivers. We've talked about this. One thing that we can address next week, maybe. I got actually my child's surgery on next Tuesday. But okay. The one thing that maybe we can address is Nick Harbor and what his progression will be. He spent all spring with the football team. That'll be something that's kind of interest to a lot of us to see what he looks like in September.
Absolutely. Tell them how they can follow you.
Yeah, on X or Twitter, whatever we're calling it today. I don't know. At Wil, Wil Gunter, Gunter. And as always, for the out-of-state people, you can go to 1075thegame.com and click on the Listen Now tab, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday.
Awesome.
It's Twitter, by the way. I'm done with X.
Yeah,
totally
it's just
done.
Twitter.
It's Twitter.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Just that thing that we put notes on and joke about.
Twitter. Yeah, it's Twitter.
Brendan and I will give you a retweet if you'll give us a retweet. Tweet.
No, yeah, tag me in. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be better.
Rob will do nothing, but
I just got to figure it out. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Appreciate it. All right, let me say something real quick before we go to Dudley in his beautiful backyard there at Heber Springs. Winter Timber Outdoors, folks. They're located in Athens, Alabama, and they're building stores all over the Southeastern Conference footprint. And they want to be in every town where the SEC schools are. They got a 13,000 square foot store under construction in Auburn. And also, they've got everything you need for the outdoor life: hunting, fishing, the gear, the clothes, and a knowledgeable staff. Again, in Athens, Alabama, open every day of the week. Everybody loves to be outdoors. Summer officially, technically starts as soon as I get up to Hardy, Arkansas, Dudley, this weekend to go trout fishing. The hatchery at Dam 3 flooded, Dudley, in these recent floods. And there are so many trout in the river right now that you can scoop your hand in there and grab them. Get all your gear at Winter Timber Outdoors in Athens, Alabama. Proud to have them as a Sidelines sponsor. Dudley, boy, I bet you're glad you were not in Newport yesterday. Man, I was over here at the farm and parking and was about to go to Memphis, and 3:30, kaboom, here we go. It just went crazy over here, but that's life in the Delta.
We ended up having three tornadoes in Fayetteville. As you know, I live in Springdale,
a
little ways down, and we missed all of that, but obviously had a lot of friends that had it affected, and this is what happens during the spring, and you hate it, but that's just part of the gig, I guess.
That's why you pay attention to the weatherman.
Was that why Boogie Fland left and came to Florida?
What's going on with Boogie Fland? That is,
what's going on? He's a Florida Gator.
I know.
That's what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
There's he obviously thought he would be going to the NBA. Then decided that he wasn't going to get drafted high enough. He was smart enough when he did that to go ahead and get in the portal during the time you could. The Arkansas has Darius Acuff, Radcliffe, and DJ Wagner coming in. Carter Knox, we think, is coming back. You only have a certain amount of money to spend in your salary cap, and just to be honest, Boogie Fland is a very good player, but you couldn't fit him in at $7 million, and everybody knew that. Of course, I don't think they knew that Florida was going to toss out $7 million.
Yeah,
is the figure,
especially after they just paid Todd Golden a whole bunch of money.
Wait, rewind, pause. They gave him $7 million.
That's our understanding. It's just, I don't traffic in rumors, so I must be getting that from somebody I trust in. Florida definitely needed him and could offer him that money. It's a good situation, I think, for everybody. There's no losers in that situation.
No, it's a win-win. Florida's backport gets real good, and they needed a replacement. I think you're right. I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, you'd go broke if you'd have kept him. $7 million. I wonder if he stays, but that's probably for 1 year.
He dang sure ain't staying for 2 years now.
No, nobody does.
It's a 1 year rental. It's one of these 1 year contracts like baseball teams sign. Major League Baseball teams sign, hoping the guy will have a great year because it's a contract year for him.
Yeah. So. Well, athletic programs are just nonprofits. What you do is, hey, you bring in $50 million, everybody pays themselves even more. We just don't want to show a profit, I mean,
I don't want anybody to think I would love to have Boogie Fland back. He's a great kid. If you could fit it all in the system there. But more important to them is Carter Knox. They have enough guards. They need one more forward type, and he's got a chance to be really, really good if he decides to stay in the draft. And they're going to have to go hunt for somebody else, I think, one more guy. If not, then he may be the star of this team next year.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb, and Brendan and I were thinking about. I'm going to ask you, what is Boogie Fland's college major? What is he majoring in?
Money.
I was about to finance.
Accounting. I mean, no one asks what these kids like.
Let's be obvious. He's majoring in basketball. He may be going to class. I'm sure he is, and all that. Although they can do the online thing. He's
majoring in his
future.
Yes,
he's betting on himself.
Yeah, well, he's already won that bet. So,
well, it's $7 million, Brendan and Dudley.
Well, I'm putting this up right now, but he's right. Arkansas committed to Florida Gators. It reported $2 million NIL deal with one speculative report at $7 million. But we haven't confirmed as far as I haven't confirmed or whatever, but Gator bait as I think we have.
Well, let me tell you,
but we like we're much like the other. We do not traffic in rumors. So but he ain't coming for $2 million. Let's just say that.
But guys, here's the thing: at Florida, Boogie where's Boogie from?
New York City.
New York City.
Get a rope.
God, no, boys.
Hey, let's bring in our buddy Vince Ferrara. Because he's
from Tampa.
We can't have it. We can't have this conversation without Vince. Hello, Vince.
Bam, bam. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How we doing? We had storms. Dudley was talking about the storms there in Arkansas. We had tornadoes, or at least tornado risk overnight, and lost power. Didn't get a whole lot of sleep, so kind of on fumes more than normal, getting up at the crack of dawn with the Roosters. But great to be on with you guys. Appreciate you.
Hey, Vince, you know what I was finding out the other night when we lost power? I can do without the TV. I can do without the electricity, but I can't do without that fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's cute you guys are complaining because I have hurricanes and we just lose everything. Just
but
power for a week.
But you know what, Brendan? We don't miss a show. The guy is, I got to tell y'all, he piggybacked on an 18-wheeler on I-75 North last year to get Wi-Fi. He did the show. We came back from media days. Remember, all the computers in the world shut down. He did it from the broom closet at the Delta Airlines Gold Club at DFW International Friday morning.
Remember when they had the Microsoft meltdown? We were coming home from media days and I was stuck
he
at
left
the Dallas airport. I walked right into the Delta Miles area because nobody was around. It was total chaos. I just walked in, got into it like a closet, and I found a woman that had her open Wi-Fi on her phone. Yeah, and I think I piggybacked and did the whole show off of her Wi-Fi sitting in the Delta Plus Miles lounge.
I mean, it was flawless. It was a great show. I mean,
free breakfast too.
Yeah, Brendan, you're a solutions guy. You have solutions.
He is. Hey, all right, guys, I'm going to tell y'all something. Tennessee, Arkansas, Florida, Auburn, Alabama. This league is just crazy. I'm going to go to you, Vince. Tennessee has lost 5 or 6 series in a row in baseball. 5. I would say it's unbelievable because it's not. You don't say that. It's believable. How did they get there? Because they've got talent and they are the national champions until they're not anymore.
It's still hard to comprehend. Look, there wasn't at least from me, there wasn't the expectation of winning a national championship. It's so hard to win one, much less going back to back.
Yeah.
There's too many great teams and players and talent everywhere. But even knowing that, it's hard to compute that they've lost 5 straight series, 6 of their last 7, and 4 straight home series, 1-4 in home series. Like, that just does not make sense for the standard of this program. Oh, by the way, it's not like they suck. They were still 16-14 and won 41 games this year. And obviously number one, and they were handling things out of the gate so great in non-conference and then in SEC play. But it's been a number of different things. It hasn't been, they have this glaring weakness that they'll never overcome it. It's been moments, it's been waves, it's been bad timing. And it's been game 3s, rubber games of series since their hot start in SEC play. Tennessee is one of just 4 teams in SEC baseball this year that was not swept once all season. Texas, which makes sense because they won the league, and then 3 teams with the same record of 16-14, Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss. None of those teams were swept all year.
Point of reference, Texas got swept by Arkansas.
A parliamentary procedure here.
Oh, that's right. They did get that's right. So no, you're absolutely right. So I guess maybe that was before that series.
I believe that's right. I believe you're right on that because I believe hearing that after. But still, your point's the same. It's a very tough league. I mean, I got all excited about Zach Root facing Liam Doyle. There's not. First of all, Zach Root didn't pitch well. Liam Doyle didn't pitch at all. He pitched Friday.
Right.
It's just an inconsistency, as you said. Something always goes wrong when you're going one way, and it always goes right when you're going the other way. I mean, it just happens.
Well, because Tennessee has not gotten swept this year, and they swept two teams. One was Florida, the other was South Carolina. They just won 2 series, 2-1, and lost 6 series, 2-1. So it's the exact same route that Alabama took to get there. 2 series sweeps, 2 series, 2-1, and lost 6 series. So you're 16-14, but you lost more series than you won. So back to what you asked, and why did they get there? Some of it has been lack of timely hitting, which obviously last year when you had your set lineup pretty much the entire year, they were clutch in a lot of times. And even when they weren't, when something wouldn't go well, they had the power 1 through 9 in the lineup to just bust through and overcome mistakes. And they were the ultimate erasers, either on the mound or in the field. They had a resiliency, a bounce back to them. This team, when they've gotten behind, they haven't had any of those huge, crazy comebacks. Yeah, down 1-0 in the first, score 3 runs or 2 runs or whatever early in ball games, but late in ball games, they just haven't had a ton of those big comebacks. It's like once they're down, just haven't been able to kind of get over the hump. They don't have the firepower 1 through 9 that they did. And Tony Vitello still moved a lot of pieces trying to look for answers. But one last thing on that, the defense has been another thing that has really come through and hurt them. They had an awful balk call on Coons, as you know, Dudley, in that Arkansas game in Game 3. So then what happens? Tennessee complicates things with an error on Curley, 2 walks to load the bases, grand slam. So, okay, maybe you got the bad end of a call, but then you contributed to it as well. And that's kind of the way things is kind of snowballed, as opposed to, hey, let's throw some water on this fire right now. So this team is different with a lot of newer and younger pieces than last year, but it's just been a little bit of everything at bad times, especially in those Game 3s.
Yeah, on that balk call, I've watched 1 or 2 million baseball games, and I didn't see a balk. You know, I call it as I see it. The umpire made the call. As you're right, it could have been, you could have overcome that, but Ryder Helfrich hit that grand slam. But yeah, sometimes people are there to see the players' dudes, and I really appreciate what umpires do, but I think he looked for that.
Yeah. And if Arkansas tipped him that maybe he does that he decided to make that call, maybe at other times he's been more pronounced at that, and maybe that was just something he was looking for. And like you said, but man, I've seen it a million times, and
let him play. Let him play.
And real quick, Chris Burke had him on the show recently, and he said, I think it was going into the Arkansas, it was probably, I think it was after Game 1 or maybe going into the series, but we had him on last week. He said that even though Tennessee and Arkansas had some slides in the second half of SEC play, that he said that those were still, in his opinion, the 2 most talented teams in baseball, Tennessee and Arkansas. Kylie McDaniel, his colleague that is the draft analyst, he has 8 Tennessee players that in his rankings that you could project to go in the top 2 rounds. And then Arkansas had 6. That's how much talent was in that series. So the ability is still there for both of those 2 teams, whether they're playing their best or not. Just a matter of how it comes together. And guess what? They don't have to play a series in the SEC tournament. It's, 1 game at a time.
If they're a number 2 seed, if Tennessee's a number 2 seed, maybe they'll get a 1 seed, one of those 16 spots. We'll see how it plays out. If they're a number 2 seed, whoever gets that, their coach, their fans, and their players are going to go, oh, crap.
Yeah, they will. Well, is Coons by chance related to former Major League Baseball Commissioner Bowie Coons? Wasn't there a guy named Bowie Coons?
I think it might have been singular.
Yeah.
Bowie Coon?
Coon has Coon at end at the end of it. This guy has an S at the end of it.
Okay. Okay. There you go. I just wanted to ask that. For both of y'all are talking about baseball is My wife, Petunia, was asking about this last night. She goes, wait, baseball, it's not over? I go, no, it's just, we just had the warm-up act, man. It's kind of like Joe Walsh out there before Billy Joel, remembering the 3 years, what he could remember when he lived in Memphis playing at Lafayette's Music Room in Overton Square. And then it was Tom Petty. That was May of 2017, one of the greatest concerts I ever went to. Guys, man, I even lost my train of thought. More Shadrack's Pecan Coffee. By the way, guys, Jonesboro, Arkansas, Shadrack's Coffee. Hey, you know about Hayes grocery stores, Dudley, over in Arkansas?
Oh, yeah.
I found this there Sunday night. I had to run over to Wynn. Wow. It's called Shadrack's Coffee from Jonesboro, Arkansas, and it's the pecan flavor. They have a number of different
ones. Did Meshach and Abednego not get in on the business? Or
I don't know, but I mean, it is some seriously good coffee. But for both of y'all, Petunia, my wife, was like, God, how much longer does it go? I said, end of November. I said, but for college, probably late June. This conversation with both of y'all is as intense as talking about college football. Why do people try to say baseball doesn't have the end? I think it really does. I think we're in Braves country, part of our viewership, and part of it's in Cardinals country. But these are knowledgeable baseball fans, guys. I mean, these SEC fans, my friend Uncle Charlie, and it's Lloyd Monger, Robert up in Knoxville. He goes out to games all the time. What a backdrop. Baum Stadium. What a backdrop. What's not to like about college baseball? I mean,
I love it. I mean, I love all forms of baseball. I went and watched high school baseball last week. I love baseball. It's my favorite sport. If I could have played professional in one, it would have been baseball. And that's why there's usually 2 games on this house at any time. Did you know that there are 45 college baseball games on ESPN Plus this weekend? I mean, today, 45 different conference games and stuff on ESPN Plus today. So these 3 TVs I have here at Command Central, they'll all be on baseball today.
Wives and girlfriends of the world unite. It's a beautiful thing.
And those other conferences matter because you have a couple of conferences that, like the AAC is one of them, where UT San Antonio is going to get into the tournament either way. If they don't win their conference tournament, that becomes a 2-bid league instead of 1. And there's 1 or 2 others that I think fall in that category also. So, and that could hurt a team like Kentucky. A&M has a lot of work to do to try to get back into the bubble. They probably have to maybe even win the thing in order to get in for the preseason number 1. Yes. To miss out on the NCAA tournament. And Kentucky's RPI was 36 going into today. And then they go one and done after getting swept by Vanderbilt to close out the season. So they might be a little nervous. That might drop the SEC to maybe 12 teams if they don't get in. And if that cut line kind of raises on them. So, yeah, all those other conferences matter. And then, positioning, you go from a 3 line to a 2 line. Do you go from a 2 line to a 1? Do you drop back from a 1 to a 2? It's kind of wide open. There's going to be a lot of people that are not going to be happy whether they're hosting or, getting sent out west. Some SEC teams are going to have to, more than likely, you're going to have to go out west unless there's only 12, because right now the projections are for 3 West Coast host regional sites. And then I saw on 3 had Tennessee going to UCLA as a 2. Nobody wants that. But
oh, Lord.
It might
say hello to the Iamaliabas.
That's right. Wouldn't that be crazy? Yeah.
There we go. Well, here's the thing. We know what the great thing about college baseball is. We're not having to hear about Ken Pom and bubble teams and stuff like that. That is the great thing. Baseball's the greatest sport there is. To be a spectator in the stands, drinking a cold beer, eating a hot dog, big old pretzel, stretched out, having fun, because that there's so many opportunities. You lose one, you got women love hearing this, got 161 more to go.
It's right at my pace. Baseball is at my pace. You can take, a break every once in a while. In the first grade, the teachers called my parents to school and said they didn't know what ADHD was back then. They said that boy just don't pay attention. Yeah. And I need breaks every once in a while. So in between pitches, in between batters, that's good for me. That's right at my pace.
What were you talking about? I forgot. I'm kidding. I've got the same problem. Sometimes I lose my train of thought. I get so excited talking to y'all, but it's just, it goes so well in person. And that's why Hoover, I just don't think single elimination is going to hurt the crowds. Mm-hmm. I mean, don't y'all think people in the South, as much as they love football, baseball's right there. I really think it is.
No offense to Hoover, Alabama. It's a great, place in that area and all that, but nobody needs to spend a week there. And that's what that old tournament format had to do. If you take care of your business, you can do it just like a series, weekend series now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can go down there and win it. You don't have to throw these pitchers at the first of the week who've pitched 3 innings all year and you want to see how they're doing. I think it's more of a true tournament and really puts some, everybody gets in, but it really puts some weight on the regular season, what you do then during that.
Yeah. Vince,
I think maybe for some that, don't have, maybe in their mind, don't have a realistic chance to go on a deep run. I think some of those that maybe would have been in the double elimination maybe will hold back. But I think you add Oklahoma and Texas, and maybe some fans jump in after a game. Hey, let's just see if they win a game, how they look, and maybe we'll make the trip. Texas, there's expectations for them. Their fans would feel like, hey, we're going to win at least a few games. We'll see how it plays out. That's also longer trips for them. But I do think the excitement for them as a first time, experience for them, I do think their fans will be there. It looked kind of thin to start yesterday. And then it filled up some in the night session. So I think you're right. Some will probably hey, let's wait till we get to after a round or two, a day or two, and then we'll invest in rolling the dice to see if we can stay around for a couple of days. But LSU fans are going to be there. There's no doubt about that.
Hey, shout out to Missouri, by the way. Yeah. I know it was a forgettable year for them, but they could have easily gone 0-30 and swept Texas A&M. And I don't root for teams. But I root for stories. I root for individuals, and they went through a lot this year. And for them to do that, just kind of made me smile a little bit.
Yeah, and to go on the road and do it in College Station was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, down. They had 6 runs in the 9th, so they were down big, and they still kept fighting. When you could have easily been, oh yeah, here we go again. But they fought in that game and then won easily in the last 2.
Yeah, I mean, and I think. I'm with both of y'all. There's so many great storylines that are going on out there in college athletics. And here we are, May 21st, media days start July 14th in Atlanta. And, you just got to take things in stride. But Dudley, you're right. Go to Hoover, take care of business. Obviously, the Chamber of Commerce, stay all week, stay all night, stay a little longer, dance all night. That's a great Willie Nelson song. Mule and the Grasshopper eating ice cream. That's one of the great lines in that song too. But I think the fans of the SEC are the smartest baseball fans in America. Agree or disagree?
I would say I'll offer up yes. I haven't been around a ton of former Pac-12 fans, and I don't know that I've been around a lot of other fan conference spaces. But I do know that you rarely hear somebody say something dumb about the game.
Yeah.
They might say something dumb about the coaches, might say something dumb about the players, but they rarely don't say something stupid about the game. And so that's knowledge, to me.
Yeah, it's like being around Kentucky basketball fans that they're pretty knowledgeable. They've just seen a lot of award ceremonies. They've done that. All right, we'll get out of here a little early today. Vince, let people know how they can follow you. Same thing, Dudley, and anything that you're going to be talking about, writing about on your shows and on your websites.
Yeah, appreciate it. Vince Sports on all the socials. Instagram, Facebook, also YouTube, and then, of course, Twitter/X as well, VINCE Sports. And then our website, 991thesportsanimal.com. Doing a lot of TV, taped a number of different shows with John Pennington, who hosts the Sports Source that I'm one of the panelists on the ABC affiliate in town. And we'll be on there this Sunday breaking down Tennessee football and everything else going on in UT athletics and the big picture of college sports. That's another thing we talked about is Zakai Ziegler suing for an extra year of eligibility. So many of those kind of stories that are out there. Tennessee, again, involved in the settlement and a chain of reaction there with the contract that they're trying to get everybody to sign. So Tennessee is in the middle of things in college athletics. What a surprise! So those are the kind of things we're covering, and you find all that stuff online.
Well, I work for Fearless Friday, which covers a lot of high school stuff. In fact, I'll be writing 2 stories today, one on high school baseball, one on high school softball. You know how much I love that stuff.
Yep.
And then Hogville.net, we cover all 19 sports. And I would be remiss if I did not mention the Arkansas softball team, which will play Ole Miss this weekend for, one of those teams neither one of those teams has never been to the Women's College World Series. One of them's going. And so it should be fun this weekend. And then obviously Dead Sports, DED, as in dog, elephant, dog, as I always tell the bill collectors and all that for the email. So you can find me on those, and you can find me wearing a Cardinal cap again today since they've won 13 of 16.
Hey, they're hot. Cardinals stay hot. Hey, thank you both so much for being on here more than you know. For everybody watching y'all, that people, we all love you. It's a treat, and we'll do it again next week. Have a happy Memorial Day weekend, guys. All right, let me say something. Landers Ford, folks, April was their best year for sales in 2 years. What does that tell you? They'll get you on the car lot, and they'll get you in a new car, truck, or SUV. Poplar and Houston Levy, where Collierville and Memphis meet. Huge lot. Lots of cars. Beautiful showroom. 80-plus people. Brad Bellamy is the general manager. They will get you in there and do everything they can to get you driving out. Also, the 25 expeditions are in. The Ford Power Promise. Employee pricing. Don't let other people's opinions or whatever's become yours. They have employee pricing for customers. $500 off for SEC Sidelines audience members. Get out there when you can. Today is a great day to go. Open every day of the week, 7 a.m., 7 p.m., except Sunday. And they're right down the street from our good friends at Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Clothing Company on the beautiful historic square in Collierville, Tennessee. COLLIERVILLE. And they've got a gigantic boot selection in there. Great looking boots, men's and women's boots. They've got some great summer clothing for the ladies. Marshwear has come out with these overall shorts that are they're hip. They're cool. Ladies love them. They've got the Barber purses, all the Barber jackets, shirts, coats, STS, Pendleton, Filson, Schaefer, STS, Devil Dog jeans. Charles Hall, the staff out there, they got you covered. And also those good-looking Seeger everyday shorts. I bought a pair of them to wear up on the Spring River this weekend. So, hey, for executive producer Brendan Martin, I'll just say it is so much fun every day doing the show. Thank y'all all for watching. Mother Teresa's right. Can't do everything, but we can all do something. Most often we see the face of Christ in the least among us. Let that resonate. Watch this show all day long. Tonight, Buddy Martin Show, 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a great day, everyone.